I've just got to double check and wait when I get the signal to say that we are now synchronized. And I think we are now synchronized. For some reason, but it's not showing my camera. Ah, there we go. We're on. Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Imran from Web Squadron. I am now live. It is Wednesday. Busy morning, mainly because I've been just creating some promos for the Elementor website course, but I hope you're all okay. I'm really sorry. I always feel like I'm jigging around. Hey John, how you doing? Hey Michael, hey friendly girl, how are you all doing today? Hey, look, friendly girl, if you're camera shy, don't be camera shy, okay? Because you only come on, you jump in and jump out. Yeah, you don't even have to tell me you're going. You just jump out when you don't want to be here. All right, there's no love lost, there's no issues or anything like that. How many of you have seen the announcement by Elementor that, of course, sorry, let me get this right. So Elementor finally announced the new event that they're doing in Berlin. And even though I think it's like a pretty big announcement that they're doing, someone called Amanda did make a comment. Hey, Dave Den. Hey, Abdullah. How are you? Someone did make a comment about how, let me just show you. Let me just get my screen on. Okay. So let me just get this on. Share screen, window. What am I going to share? I'm going to share this window over here. So you should now see this. Come on. Okay. So Elementor obviously are doing an event in Berlin. So here we go. Here's the event. We dream, we create, blah, 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 blah. They're doing an event. Now, they haven't told us who the keynote sessions are or what they're doing, but on November the 2nd in 2023 in Berlin, they're doing an event, right? So it sounds like it's going to be a big thing. The problem is, and Amanda here, and I'm just going to zoom in on this, okay? Because I think she makes a really, really good point. And I did mention as, whoa, where are we? She makes a really good point. And I am going to back her up on this. And I have said that I agree. I've put a reply to go, I agree with her. To take 3 days off work to attend an event, flight, hotel, food, loss of income, traveling, for me, that's a big thing. And I don't really do holidays. Okay. I don't. And that's because I've either got something on the go or I'm looking after my son as well, balancing off, my wife goes to work as well and I'm at home. So we've got a balance of childcare, look after Raheem and all of that. Even though he is 8 years old, you still got to look after the kid. And she makes a really good point. And I do think that this is something that I think it's great when we have some events like this, right? Yeah, go around Halloween as I would be in costume. That would be a little bit hilarious, Michael. But it is one of those things where I think like we don't all have that luxury. And I can tell you now, my best friend, my best ever friend lives in London. I haven't seen her since the lockdown, since March 2020. It's over 3 years. She's now engaged. I haven't even met her fiance yet. I haven't seen her kids in 3 years either. We're like the bestest of the best. But sometimes work, situations, time, family, commitments just get in the way. And I'm a bit like, because I can tell you now, Elemental have invited me. And I would love to go. Right, I've just got to quickly check a message. So this is a message from Elemental. I'm not going to read it out what it is. How about later, 19 p.m. Israel? Yeah, I'll spot. Yeah, that's. Hang on. I need to now check. I don't think. So I've got to check something. G-Baz, how are you? Not seen you for a while. Hope you're okay. So they have invited me. And it's a nice gesture, but I just don't think I can commit to it. Exactly, John. It is priorities, right? For me to go to the city centre, I have to plan for it. I kid you not. I have to plan for it. What am I doing? Because I've got all the Web Squadron stuff. I've got the agency work. I've got obviously the videos supporting code snippets as well. Do you know how much stuff I want to do in the house? Like, I'm literally now thinking, right, I'm going to have to hire an interior designer because I need someone to just give me some more ideas, maybe an architect to maybe make some internal changes. I've got a plan for all of that. And over the summer holidays, we had the garden done, but I did fall out with the landscaper because I didn't do things right. So in the end, I ended up having to pay more to rectify things that they had done wrong. And, there were arguments, and that ruined the bulk of my summer holiday. I can tell you now, for 8 weeks was stress. I didn't talk about it a lot on the lives, but I'll tell you now, from about the middle of July until the beginning of September, it was stress for me. And then in September, my back went. So I obviously take medication for my heart. I have trouble with my back every now and again. Can you imagine if I went to Berlin and when I get off the airplane, suddenly my back seizes up? How great is that going to be for me? I get my interior design from the show Hoarders. Which one is that, Michael? But isn't that Hoarders? Isn't that where they collect stuff? I'm not sure you'd get your great interior design from Hoarders, but I might be wrong. Friendly Girl used to go to a Friendly Girl. Can I ask you something? I used to go to the festival of. Are you based in the UK, Friendly Girl? Where are you, Friendly Girl? I'm just trying to be friendly, but where are you in the UK? Whereabouts are you in the UK? Or are you someplace else? Whereabouts are you? Because I used to go to the festival of writing, the Jericho Writers, as they are now known, based in York, and then they switched it to London. But I stopped going in 2016 after we adopted Raheem. Oh, you're in Germany. But yeah, I used to go to lots of writers' conferences as well. And I was planning to go back in 2020, roughly before lockdown. But to be honest, time-wise, it's just not good. Yes, John, I think it's Berlin or near Berlin is where. Oh no, sorry, did you mean Friendly Girl? I used to go to conferences in the US and once in Bristol. Bristol, I'm trying to think what would have been in Bristol. Not the Hayes Festival or something like that. Artif, the most I've done is go to local media. Yeah, and that Artif, I'm so glad you get me right. Because Artif, you're in London, you live in London. So even then, you're closer to stuff happening in London, but even then it's that commitment, isn't it? It's the fact that you have to go there. The fact that you have to make the time. I'm just gonna pop this on the chat over here. If anyone wants to join the live chat, you can do. Okay. It's just make sure your camera is on. Make sure you've not got a TV or radio on in the background. But if you want to jump on, you can do, but you don't have to. So I do. The problem I have though is my head is saying I don't think you can commit to going. Right? Let me get this right. I don't think I can commit to going. My heart though would love to go because I feel like I'm going to miss out. There are going to be. I bet Reno will be there. I bet Reno will be there from Living with Pixel. Paul, I don't think he'll be there. Dave Foy, I don't think he'll be there. But there will be quite a few names there. And if I could do it and not worry about my back, this is the reason why I don't even like to do too many holidays in the UK. Because there have been times where, so you know how I said I used to go to writers' events? They were like 3 days. You go on a Friday, stay Friday night, stay Saturday night, come home on Sunday. There have been many times where on the Friday, as I'm driving down or I get there, my back literally goes clunk like that. And it's a problem I have. Hey John, I'm adding you in. How you doing, mate? Hey.
Oh, hello. Fancy finding you here.
Becoming a bit of a regular now, John. You are. No, but it's I was just talking about how it's so unpredictable and my back I just can't see the fun in it. And then there's the other issue of like people have said to me, "Hey, no one is going to say anything if you go through customs with your tablets." And I'm like, yeah, you might say that. You might say that, but I remember when I went to Hong Kong in 2010, I kid you not, from the point when they stamped my passport, I then got stopped 7 times before I was let out the airport. And I even said to them, you can see that that person has just checked me and that person checked me. And they kept checking me in, empty your bag, patting me down. And it was like, I just
I'm going to say something to really frustrate you now,
go on.
and this applies to everybody here where they've got a disability, of which I have as well. I've got family members that also have disabilities, wheelchair bound, etc. You can get help through the airport and a certain amount of support there for a kickoff. But the other thing I want to say is step out of your comfort zones, folks. Even going into building your first website was a step out of most of our comfort zones.
Yeah.
Coming on here might be a step out of your comfort zone. You know, Imran has taken us through lots of steps out of our comfort zones. Back to you, Imran.
Well, that's a really good point. And I would say don't be shy because so so what happened in sorry, I'm going to give you all a story. In 2018, so way before the lockdown, we used to do a lot. So the I used to work in the NHS and a lot of the team was spread out around the UK. And we used to have weekly meetings, but I was the only one on camera. And there'd be like 20 other black screens. They're all black, 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 black. And I kept pushing people to say that the more confident you be, when you become confident in just showing your face, it's just your face. I know all of you. We've met. We know what we look like. There's nothing to worry about. And slowly over time, they all started coming on camera. And I always say, yeah, don't be shy. No one's going to judge where you're sitting, what you wear. Well, just make sure you're not completely naked, but as long, just make sure you're decent and everything. No one cares. But that's a really good point. You step out your comfort zone because when you become okay with putting yourself out there, there's a higher chance that you're probably going to start creating your own videos and sticking them on LinkedIn and Twitter and other places. So it's like it's a bit of a confidence boost once you go, hey, yeah, like John might decide, oh, I'm going to do a quick 1-minute video about XYZ, and he's feeling good about himself and he goes and does a video. But if he keeps shying away from it, I can honestly tell you now, once you put yourself out there, your potential to get higher paying clients goes up. Because people, there's something about authenticity. They can see you, they can hear you, they like you, you give off the right vibe, and then they want to connect with you. Would you agree with that? Oh, we just lost John. John will probably come back, so I'll bring John back in when he comes in. He jumped off just at that point. Friendly Girl said, did I consider riding by train? You could get, yeah, do you know what? I think the trouble is, Friendly Girl, is the cost. It's basically the cost of doing this. Hey, Mark Harris, by the way. Yeah, I do have pants on as well, by the way. Yes, I do have pants on. I think my problem is cost and time like that. So it would have been nice if they had done it as a bit of a virtual event as well, because I just don't know. Like if you go back to this, right, okay, to this event that we have over here, it's heading to Berlin. There is a cost attached to it. How many people are going to go to an Elementor conference? I just don't. Is it? I mean, it's a bit of a weird. I'm going to put John back on, but I'm just talking again, John, about this. This Berlin conference. It's the first ever one they're doing. It's in Berlin, November the 2nd, 2023. I just don't feel the pull, and this is, and I bet someone from Elemental is going to be watching this, and they're going to give me a slap when they hear this. Yeah, but I just feel like it's not a. I don't want to say it's not a big attraction, but what is the big attraction? Like, it's not like a concert. It's not like a once in a lifetime opportunity. We're going, hey, you know what? Money is tight and whatever. You got to watch where you spend. But I'm going to go and spend and go to an Elemental conference, which most likely will be broadcast or streamed. So if it's going to be broadcast or streamed, what would make? I mean, and I'm going to ask the question out to everyone here. Imagine you're now considering it. So if you definitely are not, don't want to know, but if you were considering it, what would they need to do to make you really want to go? And we have once again got Artif in with his
I feel like
blurred
I'm
background. How you
taking up
doing, mate?
the yeah, I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're doing good. So, so I'm gonna ask. So, this is to John and Artif. This elemental conference, like, it's a great idea, but charging for tickets for you to attend. It's in Berlin, and there's nothing wrong
Mm,
with where the location, but it's like everyone you got to travel to it. It's bound to be online, so you could just join in the. I'm bet it must be online, but don't you? Is this something that like it's a great thing, but is it?
mm.
Is there really the attraction to go to it, something like that? What do you think, John? John is nodding. Artif, what about you?
I mean, I would say it's obviously I just found out through you, so it's all kind of news to me. I think definitely a lot would depend on
What do you get out
what
of
is
it?
the show, what is the what are you getting out? If it's just going to be like one big Elementor advert, but you're inside of this
For
Elementor
me
advert.
personally, it would be a stretch.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
openly admit it would be a stretch.
Mm.
yeah. So I mean,
If
so
it's a
so this is the
There'd have to
thing.
be something,
Oh,
I think, really that you're gaining from it, that can help you, or it's, I don't know, useful for something. Otherwise, yeah, it's like with WordCamps. I don't want to belittle them. They're very good, and that's one of the good things about WordPress is the community and trying to connect with that community. But it's challenging.
do you,
Whenever I talk, you're always smiling, like
no, no.
I'm saying
Do
something,
you know
I've got
what?
something on my face.
No, no, no. Do you know why I'm smiling, Artif? I'll tell you why I'm
Yeah,
smiling. Sometimes you say something and it
yeah,
makes
yeah,
me go, right, I'm now going to be honest. Because
yeah.
sometimes I worry about what I put out here because I have been slammed a
It's
little
good.
bit in the past for
It's
what I
your
say.
channel.
No, no, but
You have to be careful, but I can say what you want me to say.
no, no. But it's like,
What you're really thinking.
so what you've said now has given me the
Mm.
confidence to be brutally honest, right? Why have I not gone to WordCamp in the last two
Yeah.
years? Why did I not go this year and why did I not go last year? I'll tell you why. When I look at the talks, there's nothing on any of those talks that make me go, oh yeah, I really want to know about that, because either I already know it or I
Mm.
can get it online. Number two, yes, I could meet people, like loads of
Mm.
amazing people, but is that really the reason why I want to spend lots of money to go somewhere? Just to go and say
Mm.
hi. And then like you're gonna be like, like you'll literally just be going round and round and round, going hi, 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 let's take selfies, let's do this, hi, hi, and it gets a little bit
Mm.
like, I don't know, repetitive. Thirdly, um, do I want to like go over my luggage allowance by coming back with loads of freebies that I'm probably never going to use ever again? Like, oh, I got another coaster. Oh, I got another sticker. Well, where am I going to stick that kind of thing? So
Mm.
there comes a point. I think John's struggling with his connection at the moment. There comes a point where, like, when you were at university, right, and Freshers Week, you collected every postcard and every keyring and
Mm.
every freebie you ever had, and then eventually they half ended up in the bin. Don't worry, John. Don't worry. So there is something like, that's the reason I don't go WordCamp. I'm brutally honest here. If WordCamp said to me, "Yeah, we'll pay for your plane and your hotel,
Mm.
and we want you to do a talk," I'd be like, okay, I'll consider it. But when you were, because I did consider Greece, I looked at it, and when I started doing the mathematics, I was like, I can't justify that,
Yeah.
because in our family we have our spends, and I'm very like focused on clear the mortgage, clear this, clear that, pay
Mm.
that off. So I say to my wife, right, you've got your money and, but you don't, and I've got my money and we put this much into a joint account, but try and keep your spend to X and I keep my spend to Y. And then I go and blow money on, oh, I'm now going to go over to Greece for a bit for a 3-4 day event. It
Mm.
just, so it's a bit like, so I think like, that's why I was smiling. It made me go, yeah, I keep saying, oh, because I've got stuff on. But the truth is that what am I really going to get out of it? And some people have said
Mm.
to me, but you miss out on networking and meeting
Yeah, that's
people.
true.
And then I
I've heard
kind of
that a lot.
go, but people know where I am, and if we're now going to start, and again, I'm not going to be really controversial here. Okay, I'm going to be really, really controversial. If we're going to say that you only make it by actual face-to-face meeting, then what we've gone and set is a threshold to say that if you are not well off, you will not make it. It's almost like saying you have to be there and have the money to be there to grow. And I always feel like, we live in a digital age now where,
Mm.
before we had email, I could understand you had to kind of do face to face. You could only get so far by talking on the phone. But the moment we started moving into like video calls and chats like this, or just, communicating, I mean, prior to Twitter, Facebook in 2009 mainly was just friends and family. That's all you really communicated with. I feel like Twitter was the gateway to, oh, now I'm going to start chatting to someone from Hawaii, about whatever. And then you started to become more confident, because I always remember Facebook back in 2009, 2007. It was very like you only really talked to people you knew. Oh, we went to the same school. Everyone was doing that. I mean, so Mark, am I going to get clients if I go to WordCamp? And that's a good point. So Mark makes a
Mm.
really good point. You're not going to get clients. The people who attend WordCamp, in my opinion, are going to be 99.9% developers, plugin developers, theme developers, hosting companies. Um, so what you'll do is you might get a freebie off them, or you might get a discount code, or you might get a T-shirt, or you might get to meet people that you've always seen, but you get the chance to actually shake hands with them and say, "Hey, I really love what you're doing there." Kind of
Mm.
thing, or you go to Verdi and you pull up his T-shirt and see that underneath Elemental's got a Code Snippets T-shirt he's giving away, or the other way around, or but are you going to get clients?
I mean,
No.
I've heard this comment comes quite a lot that, if you're in the maybe the business of WordPress, then there may be some benefit to you to
Yeah.
connect to other people, network with maybe other plugins or other hosts. Just maybe if you're making a plugin or a theme and you want to get it out there, you can connect the network, and that's a good opportunity. I mean, it's not really, I guess, a place for you to find clients per se, unless
No.
you know, offering your services, unless you're doing anything extra that you can maybe then pitch to these kind of people. But otherwise, yeah, what are you gaining from it? And otherwise, some people like going to conferences and events, and that's, good for them. If they can do it and they can afford it, go for it.
Yeah.
But it's not something which I think every WordPress enthusiast or
No. It,
elementarist will be able to do. Yeah.
it's actually one of the reasons why I've not joined some of the Leicestershire business, like e-commerce chambers and all of that, and gone.
Mm.
And I keep wanting to at some point, but what puts me off a little bit is that, like, on LinkedIn, it seems like every week there's another lunch or meal or dinner meal, and they're all dressed in like tuxedos and, wonderful prom
Yeah.
dresses. And I feel like I don't think I could be bothered to go every week. But again, it's that same mentality. If you're not there and you're not part of that clique, you miss out. And I've always hated that kind of like, you got to be there. And if you're not there, you're not part of that club in a way. So I prefer to find other ways to network, a bit like what we're doing here. And by the way, if anyone wants to join in, the link is on the screen. Hey, Chris Merry, how are you doing? But yeah, I think you're right, is that if you're a business or you're someone with a business idea and you want to go into partnership with another company because you got, you scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of thing. Or maybe you're someone who attends these events and likes to put out these exclusive podcasts or something. That would be great. I mean, if I was there, I would struggle, but I would try to do a live stream as I'm walking around with, like, on the floor and, behind the scenes and kind of thing. I would love to do something like that. But again, 3 to 4 days away from family, away from your general work. I mean, how many
Mm.
emails do you get a day, Artif? You're going to say none.
Nobody messages me.
No.
No, it's the key
Except
question is how
Slack.
many do I
Except Slack.
read? How many do I read is the key question.
Very good.
That's what you should be asking.
That's
Yeah.
actually a really good
And
one.
that is none.
Yeah. Now my question is, can you read?
Now. Crossing the line, you're going into some
I know,
personal
I know.
question bit.
As soon as you said that, I thought I better ask that.
No.
No, but that's a good point. But it is like it's like I keep saying to my wife when she goes, "Oh, you're going back to work again." Literally, I'm just walking into my room. She goes, "Oh, you're going back to work again," and I have to
Yeah.
always say the same thing to her. In fact, my son now says it to her as well. The digital world does not stop moving. And
Mm.
when things go wrong, and we talked about it yesterday, I mentioned it about, when I took a bit of time off, a couple of days, and literally that evening, as I was getting on the train, something just went kaput on a client's website. I had to sort it out. I'm one of those people where I could not sit there in a bar with loads of famous people having a laugh if I knew I had a problem I had to attend or sort out. I can't. That's my
Mm.
weakness, by the way, everyone. My weakness is that if I know something needs sorting out and I know I could, my heart pulls me to do it. I just can't turn around to someone and go, it's 5 p.m. Sorry, I'm not at my desk again until Monday morning now. I have this like sense of duty or obligation. And also it's a little bit selfish because I know that they'll remember me for the good reasons and the bad reasons that I actually pulled the stops out and got something done for them. But I have to then let them know that does not mean I'm always going to do this for you. I don't want to think that I'm there to help them out all the time. Um, so John is saying, take my family with me. Wrong time of the year. Son's at school, wife's at work. And again, if I told my wife to take time off work, um, because she's already booked up her days for the following year, she'll lose income as well. Son, he'll lose education. It doesn't always work out like that. Now, Dave has just said something. He goes, they recently got funding from NASA to do some stuff. Who are you talking about, Dave? Oh, sorry, I've just realised he's answering Friendly Girl. I thought Elemental got NASA on there now. I got a bit sorry, I've missed that one over there, that
Imran, I've
conversation.
got a question for you then.
Yeah.
What would it take Elementor to do for you to be like, okay, I'm gonna go? Is
They
there
would have
anything they could come out with that you would say, yeah, all right, I have to be there?
well, two things actually. No, hold on. No, yeah, two things. The first one is pay the hotel or accommodation and like
Yeah.
flights and travel, because it's not just the flight, it's getting to the airport, flying, getting to the hotel. Basically, if they pay all of that, I would consider it. But the second, in fact, I would only consider it if they also meet my second request, which is what will you want me to be there for? If
Mm,
I'm going to be there to sit in the audience and you're going to pan a camera around and I go, hey, that's pointless. That's not worth my time. I don't care what you feed me, and Pepsi Max, whatever, not worth my time. And I'm going to be on there on stage to talk about Elemental. Well, what are we talking about?
mm,
Am I allowed to promote my course? What
mm,
is in it for me in a
mm,
way? Because sometimes there comes a point where you can't be a fanboy all the time. Hey, I've got an iPhone. I love Apple. Hey, I love Element. There comes a point where you have to kind of go, well, what do I get out of it? Kind of
mm,
thing. So I'll let you know, Bricks, Thomas, he asked me to do a video promo. And I said, fine, as long as you put a link to my website under my name. And he was like, yeah, fine. So that, like, I need to know that if you're going to benefit a little bit from me, I need to know what do I get out of it. And I think,
yeah, sure, absolutely.
what about you?
That's not a bad idea if they did this. What if they had like a competition or something? Just, enter your name and whoever wins, they'll get like an all expenses paid to come to the event. That's not.
I'm not the only person they've asked. They have asked quite a few. I
Yeah,
know
I'm
that.
sure.
They have asked
I'm
a
sure.
few. But at the moment, I can tell you now, nearly everyone at the moment is feeling a bit like, nah.
Mm,
It's a bit like, it's not really, it's just not ideal kind of thing. It's just the cost of stuff like that. Yeah, so John is saying basically they promote your web squadron. I mean, they don't have to promote web squadron. They're going to promote it anyway by just saying, hey, it's Imran from web squadron. So I always feel like indirect. I personally think indirect promotion works better than a direct one. Where, when you go to an event and it says sponsored by GoDaddy, I always find it
They're all
forceful.
sponsored by GoDaddy.
Yeah. Or anything, even when they like say sponsored by Atrim, sponsored by anything, it always feels like you're only mentioning them because they paid to be mentioned, like an advert. Whereas if it kind of says supported by, or big thanks to GoDaddy for helping to arrange X, it feels indirect, even though they probably did pay for it. But the minute they say sponsored by or whatever, I always hate that. I'm just literally checking what the Israel times. Israel is 2 hours ahead of us. Yeah. So I've just got to say, yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna. I've actually been asked to arrange an event with the Elemental team, so they're probably watching this right now, Artie. Hey, everyone.
Yeah, they're probably also pumped. Yeah, we've got Imran on board. He's going to be coming, and then they like, oh, why don't we check out his video live stream, see what he's saying about? Is he promoting it? And then they're like, oh.
Hey, Pickstar, how you doing? Great to have you here, mate. By the way, Pickstar, if you want to come on camera, with your sausage, whatever you're eating, you can come on.
Whoa. What kind of stream are you promoting? Shall I is that my cue to jump off now?
I don't know. Where are you going to jump off to? That's what I'm worried about. No,
You and Pickstar can enjoy his sausage together.
I think he likes kebabs, which is like an Asian sausage. So, yeah, I mean, I just think that, like, yes. Anyway, sorry, everyone. I've spent nearly 30 minutes just talking about this, but new event Berlin, 2nd of November. I've got a feeling they will do something pretty extravaganza because this is going to be the first one. But
Yeah, sure.
I do feel like, in terms of the attraction or the pull, it's not massively there at the moment. But yeah, I think it was fair play to someone called Amanda who kind of made a comment about how, well, this is kind of like there is the cost attached to it, and when you consider people's health, family, commitments, all of that, it does start to add up. WooCommerce introduced a couple of new features that came out in their email today. One of them is now with WooCommerce payments, you get Afterpay, which is now included. So some people tend to see a better conversion rate when you say, hey, you don't have to pay for this product all in one go. You can pay in installments. And then they've also brought out something whereby, I can't remember the company name, but if you partner up with someone, you can allow people to pay via like Bitcoin or crypto. I don't like the sound of that. And I know there's loads of people out there go, yeah, I like doing that. I just don't like that. I feel like if you're going to do it as an investment thing and you sit and put it away and you let it grow, great. But allowing people to pay via Bitcoin or any crypto is a very risky scenario. Take the UK and the US currency at the moment. I think it's at 78% at the moment. About 3 weeks ago, it was 82%. And even then, sometimes I hate it when you quote, like sometimes like clients in the US, I give them a quote. Then when they pay a month later, I actually lose a bit of money because of the currency conversion. So I feel like crypto is so at the moment. I'm just not sure about it. Side note from Friendly Girl, is anybody as eager as me that Elemental finally adds support for CSP on GitHub? I read they are finally working on it.
Not related to this, but just what you were mentioning actually
Yeah, sorry,
before
go on.
about the currencies. It's interesting topic you mentioned, just because I was watching. There was Stripe. They had
Yeah.
like a webinar. I think it was last week, just about improvements that you can make to the checkout. Obviously, they're trying to promote their checkout and what have you. Fine, but one of the things that I found interesting was they actually saw that adding more payment options can actually be counterproductive and can actually cause less conversions, just because
I agree, actually.
you're giving customers more choice, which is good. But then at that time, when they need to make a payment, they spend more time thinking, should I do this? Should I go for installments? Should I do
Yeah.
it? and that could maybe question, okay, let me have a rethink, or let me take a. Whereas if you keep it to a, it's hard to find that sweet spot. But if you find a sweet spot of some choice but not too much choice, then you're kind of really pushing them into that funnel of make the payment.
So I'll
Find that
tell you,
interesting.
I completely agree with you, in fact. So normally when I do a lot of like WooCommerce or e-commerce related sites from the US or the UK mainly, I always used to put PayPal and Stripe on there. But very
Mm,
recently, if you now have the PayPal plugin, which you obviously have to use with WooCommerce, they've now introduced like the fact that if you have PayPal, you can either pay via PayPal or you can enter in your credit or your debit card. So
mm,
now the need to have Stripe for me is slightly irrelevant. Now Stripe has a slightly better commission rate than PayPal, but it is so minor that, for instance, on the Learn website, Web Squadron page, when you go to the cart or the checkout, you got PayPal and you got Stripe. So both of them are saying you can pay by your card for PayPal or Stripe. And then I'm like, as I realized this on the weekend, I was like, now that PayPal have introduced that properly, because before it wasn't so clear cut, but now it is,
mm,
why do I want to say to them you can pay with debit card on Stripe or PayPal? Because they're going to sit there and go, well, what's the difference? So now I
mm,
feel like I might just remove that. And the other thing also is with PayPal, money coming in, you can take out on the day. Stripe, you either wait 7 days or 3 days or 24 hours. And I've never liked that bit of Stripe. It's
mm,
always annoyed me.
mm,
So now I am considering on our mastery modules and our learnwebsquadron.co.uk, I might remove Stripe. Well, when I say remove it, I'll just deactivate it. It's still there, it's still connected, but I might deactivate it just because the fact that PayPal have now said you don't need an account, you can just pay with your debit card, and they won't even set you up with a PayPal accounts because
all
for
right.
some,
Okay.
yeah, so you don't even have to set up an account, RT. You can just literally type in your debit card, and that's it. It's gone through.
Mm,
What it means though is the money all goes to one place.
yeah.
Whereas if you had like PayPal, Stripe, Afterpay, PayFast, and all these other things, Sage, you're literally having to go in and out of loads of accounts to kind of like, check that things have gone through and all of that. And I agree with you that I think
I
the
don't know how it is
less is
now. From
better.
what I remember, Stripe was, it was a lot harder to set up. They needed a lot more information and documents. PayPal, I set it up ages ago, so it was much easier. I'm not sure now if they have, if it's a similar thing.
Yeah, no, it is better now. It is better now. Mark makes, I mean, yeah, Friendly Girl kind of agrees with what you were saying about the free click rule as well. About
Mm.
you had too much places for them to click or think. That's how you lose them. And Mark, do you know something, Mark?
Very
I I hear this a lot, like all the time. And I know some people don't like PayPal because of like how they cracked down on anyone who offended someone or something like that that was in the news about a year ago. Why do people not like PayPal? Because I I've never had an issue with them. And I never fully, and whenever I ask someone why they hate them, they just go because it's PayPal. I never fully
Mm.
get it, kind of thing. I've always been, yeah, they are great. I mean, don't get me wrong, Pixar is right. They do take a cut, 50 pence minimum, well, as a standard, and then they take a commission. But I'm kind of like, I find that the reliability of using PayPal has been really, really good for me. And the other thing also that a lot of people don't realize is a few times I had an issue, there is a phone number. Within 5 minutes, you're talking to someone, not a bot or an AI chat thing. You're talking to someone and they sort the problem out.
Oh,
Um,
with PayPal.
yeah,
Oh, wow, that's pretty
yeah,
decent.
PayPal. Yeah. Now, Mark does make a good point here. So, if you start to earn more money than you were before, PayPal will hold your account. They did this to us ages ago. And you have to show them these are all real, these are happy people, and we've changed our business model, or we are now selling a course, or we're doing XYZ. I had to talk to them
Mm.
on the phone. um, the holding money bit though, it sounds worse than it is. What they do is they might say you're not allowed to take out more than £2,000 per month. So they put like a blocker on there for you in a way. So that means that if let's just pretend you earned £4,000 in September, you could take 2,000 out now and then another 2,000 in October. But then what if you earn another 4,000 in October? So you're always kind of like taking money out,
Mm.
but then you've got a pot. But then again, you have to contact them, let them know, and then they normally increase what is your holding value. So I do agree with Mark. You know, they do stuff which can be a bit of a pain in the ass, but from a reliability point of view, they are pretty good. And Mark is right as well. I'm jumping around this. Stripe is easy to use now. The only thing that irritates me about Stripe is how, even though when you've made the connection, you then have to go in and get that webhook, set your endpoints in, get the secret key. And I really would wish they would make it be in a much more simpler way. Because at least with PayPal, once you hit the button and it says now connect and you connect, that's it. It's done. It's like super quick. Whereas with Stripe, um, I've worked with people where they've done everything and it's not working, and I go, yeah, because you didn't do the secret key and you didn't do the
Mm.
webhook, and sometimes Stripe don't make it completely clear. Even I still to this day have to sit there and go, which one do I want? Do I want that one or do I want that one? And I
Mm.
normally go, no, it's that one, and I have to remind myself. Um,
I
just
think for me, of the two, I mean, I guess it depends which angle you're looking at it from. I would say just from a development point of view, I really love Stripe because you can configure it and they've made it in a way where you can do so much. You can integrate it into whatever kind of workflow you want.
yeah,
Having a checkout, they host a checkout. You can have some checkout on your own website and whatever.
yeah,
Um, from a consumer point of view, if I take it back, I actually would prefer PayPal to make payments on PayPal just because if I've ever had any issues with a payment or with a merchant from a customer, they're much more easy to engage with, and their
yeah.
customer support is much better. So it's actually quite a hard balancing who's better. It really depends on maybe which lens you're looking
It is
from.
also there is something also about the naming, isn't there? Because when I say to some clients, right, we're going to put Stripe on there, they've never heard of Stripe.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
kind of go, what the hell's this? Well, you know,
That's right.
like,
Yeah.
but when you there is something about it's a bit like anyone here use Just Eat to order takeaways, and you can pay with PayPal. You know what you're doing, and even though you know the PayPal is going to take the money from your bank account when you pay via PayPal, there's this like level of trust where you kind of go, yeah, I know it's okay. Whereas sometimes I've gone to some shops, like I remember when Klarna first came out, and I was like,
Mm,
what the hell's this? You know,
mm,
um, and it's a bit like WooCommerce saying you can now have Afterpay.
mm,
You'll have Afterpay, and there'll be some people that look at that and go, well, what is that? Am I going to get hit with interest or something like that? So there's
mm,
something about like why do we buy from Amazon? I mean, at the end of the day, when we buy from Amazon, well, that's if anyone does. You're not Amazon aren't the people that made the goddamn product. Someone else made it, stuck it on Amazon. They may have got it from God knows where. They may have bought it from someone else and they're just selling stuff on. We don't know until we get it in our hands. But why do we go on? I mean, how many people here have gone and bought a TV or a computer or a laptop or something off Amazon? But because it's Amazon, we kind of go, yay, we trust it more. But even Amazon don't even bloody know half the stuff they're selling on there because it's just
mm,
multi-vendor, isn't it? It's like,
mm.
but there's that thing about it's like a stamp of approval. Um, I mean, the
No,
amount
I
of
think
stuff.
personally, just from
Sorry, yeah,
personal experience from PayPal, I think it's just the trust because it's been much easier if you bought something from somewhere and you paid with your credit card. I've had it where maybe it's not exactly what you purchased, there's something
yeah,
wrong with it, description, and then you get into this hassle. They don't want to give you a refund, there's a dispute. Going to your credit card company and raising a dispute, such a long-winded process
yeah,
actually. And then you know what? The burden of proof is quite difficult on both sides on what to prove you got it or you didn't. And sometimes they don't even take all this into consideration. Whereas with PayPal, it's been much better whenever there's a dispute to actually raise a dispute. And then PayPal will then give you that opportunity to talk to each other and then they can step in and make a decision. At least it's a little bit more structured and it's a bit more clear. It may be
Yeah.
more informal, I guess, because you're following PayPal's policies and it's not like something governmental or your statutory right. But I've always found it much better as a process. So that's why I would always, I don't know, prefer PayPal as a payment option for me. But if I was developing something, first thing is I always got Stripe because it
I
just it's so easy to integrate
I'll tell you
for
what,
me.
though, all this talk about PayPal, and then I mentioned Just Eat, I really feel like a takeaway tonight now, right? I'm
Nice.
like, what shall I do tonight? What
There's
should
some
we
trigger
do?
words. I'll say some. I don't want to say another trigger word. It might start off another topic. But there's a trigger word in the WordPress community. You said PayPal. You know that they had this scandal. I come across this a lot because I don't know much about the scandal. But if you say the word freemius to anyone,
Oh,
they
yeah,
yeah,
right. Now,
and they get very sensitive, and people get very up in the air, like, oh, I can't trust freemius, can't trust freemius. And I
what?
don't know much of the history of
No, I
what
mean,
happened.
so I don't get it either, right? I've heard the reasons, I've spoken to people about it. I actually don't see what the major problem is. Yes, like, I, I get it, right? That the trouble is though, people keep associating it with like freemium and all of that. Like it's free, and then you got to pay a bit more to get X, Y, Z, like a pro version or whatever, and there's a cut and all of that. And I'm like, but isn't that the same with everything? In a way, for me, I just don't see what the issue is, and I think like they get a lot of bad press. In fact,
I
some
think
people, the
definitely they
minute
made
they,
mistakes for
hey,
sure. I
yeah,
think
oh yeah, they
definitely
have.
they have a history. They made mistakes, but what I said, and there was actually a conversation I had on Facebook with someone about this, and again, they were ripping into thinking of different licensing options, and they said freemius as one, and then they were getting ripped into. And I said, look, you know what? I think it's unfair to like if they have made some mistakes and then they haven't fixed them, or they keep making the mistakes or they don't care, then you go after them. But if they're trying their best to rectify, which is what I can see they are, then I think you should give some people the benefit of the doubt. They're trying to fix some mistakes they've made. We could all make mistakes.
Damn right we do. I did it when I let you come on the live.
This is a mistake here. I'm going to haunt your lives every day.
Well, I'm going to put out a question to everyone. If you were going to have a takeaway tonight, what would you go for? What would you go for? Artip, if you were going to have a takeaway tonight, what would you go for?
It'd have to be a greasy burger. Has to be greasy burger. Sorry.
What kind though? What like
Chicken burger. Has to be a greasy
chicken
chicken
burger?
burger.
Do you
Yeah.
prefer chicken to lamb burger, or is it?
Yeah. Definitely.
And what would you have on the chicken then?
It
What
wouldn't have. It wouldn't
spices?
even be like you know what? Nowadays there's this trend of like these gourmet fried chicken burgers. Yeah, none of that. No,
You
I'm
just
going
want
to like my local chicken shop.
yeah.
You got to make sure the exhausts are blocked. Then when you walk in, it's all steamy. There's grease on the window.
We're getting some nice comments coming in. Nando's from Mark, pizza from Mastigma. Michael D would go for.
Interpret would go with Stripe for his
I just read that. Yeah,
takeaway.
what
Nice.
for a takeaway? We've got Jal Frazee. You know, there's yeah. I mean, now I am feeling really hungry. George would go for
From
KFC
KFC
family
family
pack.
pack.
I tell you what, though, whenever I've had a KFC,
He knows where he wants.
I always go for the hot wings. I
Mm.
don't like the chicken pieces. Mainly because KFC I feel overdo the salt. You can really
Okay.
taste the salt, but with the chicken wings, because they're a bit more, just a tiny bit spicier, you don't taste the salt as much. Wow, Anthony's going for chicken korma. But yeah, do you know what? My son loves that. I know that if you give him that for dinner, in fact, he will go through it, and he will come back for seconds. He loves that. Um, but yeah, burger's always a good one. Yeah, it looks like a food channel, Eddie. You know, we are diversifying. You know, we're trying to reach out. You know, because WordPress developers, we do eat. We don't always talk about it, but we do eat. I don't know what I would go for. I don't know what I would actually go for tonight. I'm feeling like a KFC now. Now that George has said it, and I'll tell you why I love KFC. The KFC from us is a 10-minute drive away. If I was to order any time of the day, they deliver within 20 minutes. So if you're feeling peckish and you want it, they deliver within 20 minutes, and that is brilliant, you know. So it's a great. So sometimes Raheem has said, I'm really hungry, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can't be bothered to cook. Let's just get a KFC. And that's how great a dad I am. I'm like, Raheem, I'm recording videos. I'll get a KFC for you. And he's like, yay. He runs away happy. So I'm like, I don't care. Just shut the door on your way out. WordPress falafel. By the way, if anyone does want to join in the live chat, please do so. So I've got a client meeting today, and I think I've got to put out a video soon about this. So sometimes, like, you arrange like a 1 hour discovery call, and this is a brand new. It's not even a client; it's someone who wants some help. So it might lead on to work. They've sent me the mother of all emails last night, and I haven't even read it properly yet. They've basically just gone da 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 da. And the reason I'm not reading it is because they have paid for 1 hour one-to-one. It's probably going to take me 2 hours to read that email.
Wow.
And I don't feel like, this is me being selfish now, I'm going to give you an hour of my time. We're going to go through the problem and talk about it. But I'm not going to sit there and do loads of research and homework into what plugins should you use, X, Y, Z. Because, you know, if you employ someone for a certain amount of time, in the real world, they will only work during that time window kind of thing. You know, if you worked in an office and you employed like someone to run a project, they're not going to start doing all the work the day before. They'll do it when they step in the office. And half the time, they're just going to be sat there understanding where they go and make tea and where the toilets are and logging on, and they can't log on. And oh my God, they've lost their pass card and everything. So Pixar's made a very good point here, actually. He goes, heard rumors that web designers never eat because they are so busy and hardworking as they can't eat. No, do you know what, though? I eat when I'm on the treadmill. I eat when I'm working. I've just had a quick snack before I went live. I'm going to have another snack when I jump off, you know. So, yeah, we do eat.
I like George's. Yeah, I agree with this comment totally. I actually had an interesting story about a client this week. I don't do many now because I just can't do it for other things and plus the time. But through a family friend, they really desperate. They don't know what they just started a small business and they made a website, but they did it on Wix, and then they bought it everything for Wix. And Wix are very clever. They got them signed up for a year.
Yeah.
They paid it all up front, and then so I was like trying to push them away from Wix, as much as I can. But they're like, it's on Wix. So I started using Wix, and then I said, look, I can't do it on Wix because I've never really used Wix. I don't know how to use it. What I'll do is I'll spend like all I can do, maybe half an hour at the most, just to help you navigate it. And then so we tried to do it together, and you know, it's so rubbish and it's so useless, Wix, that it made me look like such a complete amateur because I couldn't even basic things like adding padding or changing the color. It's so complicated to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the thing is, then the clients, they actually start questioning, oh, but do you even know how to do websites?
Oh, God.
You can't even change the color. You don't even know how to make this go here. Are you sure you know what you're doing? It's like, no, listen, it's not me, it's Wix.
Yes, yeah, and you know what? It's a bit like, so what I sometimes say to them is, I bet you're going to find a garage that does MOTs and services for cars. And I bet if you take a specialist car into them, they're going to struggle. Does that mean they're not good at their job? No, it means they're not used to that particular model. So I've had that conversation as well. And it gets me not defensive, but it irritates me a bit that they dare say that. You know, and it's so, because like, I don't think people out there, general public, understand how many different ways there are to build a website. I think everyone.
I mean, she
thinks
didn't
it's just like,
understand anything. Like, domain and hosting was like a brand new concept to her. She didn't really understand it because
yes,
I guess Wix, they don't really make it very clear. They just
no,
said,
they
you know,
don't.
what do you want to call it, and you know, what is it that you want it to be, and then you buy it all together. But luckily for her, there was an option where you can. I think Wix, you buy the domain, but it stays with Wix or something. But she didn't check that. Luckily, she didn't, because otherwise, it's all. If she leaves Wix, then she loses everything.
Yeah. I think that's the same conversation I've had about Squarespace as well, because what they say is you pay £8 per month, I think it is, for Wix. and you get all this stuff with them, and people then think, oh, great. And like you just says, they don't realize that that domain is now kind of the owner of
Mm,
it is Wix. Now, you can get it off Wix, but then you got to go through a process of doing that.
mm,
But yeah, it just gets on my nerves when people say that, because they just assume that every website has been built the same way, kind of
mm,
thing. They don't, they think, oh, everyone, if you're going to draw on paper, you need a pen or a pencil and paper, and that's it. They don't realize that the paper we use is different depending on your platform, and the way we build it is the page builder or the theme builder, and again, that is different as well. You know,
mm.
um, you always have to go through a little bit of an education mode, don't you, with them? We're kind of like just explaining to them what you can and can't do. And you have to be very careful that you don't um what's the word? Oh, I can't think of the word now. Condescending. You don't want to feel like that, but you want to make them understand that this is what I do and this is how I do it. If you want something different, like you want a website that's full of animated JavaScript because you've seen something really fancy, I'm not the right man for you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You need to go to
I,
George.
don't- I think it's what you said. Lots of people, they don't know that there's different ways of doing things, and maybe they think this is the way of doing it. Like what we're doing on Wix, as an example, that's the only way. That's the way to make a website. So then, if you're not competent or able to use it, then you can't do it at all. So why should I trust you? And then you end up wasting too much time of your own time trying to explain like
Yeah,
basics of websites, and then what's the point? You
I
just waste an hour just explaining to someone.
yeah, th- so the moment I get a feeling that they're not going to trust me or they're questioning me, I start to
Mm,
back off. I literally,
mm,
I've become the sort of person now where I don't bother fighting that fight, because I feel like if they're going to make an issue out of this now, when something else kicks off, it will become another issue and another issue. And I just sort of kind of, you start to lose the love. Now, Chuck T has asked a question. Hey, Mia, how you doing? I am planning to jump off, Mia, in a very short moment, but great to have you here. Chuck T says, how do I change the drop down indicator color? Now, I've not gone in and looked at this yet or bothered to look at how to do it, but I'm pretty sure if you inspect it, you will find a class name or something somewhere that's going to allow you to change it, I think.
mm,
Because it's not that dissimilar to if you wanted to change it for the normal drop down toggle menu drop down thing. But I feel like if you were to open your mega menu or hover over it, right click, inspect, whatever, however you want to do it. And if you are struggling to get the exact code, if you install site origin CSS. So Chuck T says he's tried that, not working. Okay. I will have a look. I will have a look, and if I find any solution to that, I might go and do a shit little video on it or something. But I'll post it in the Facebook Web Squadron group. I'll have a look. Yeah, see, look, Pixar says that, and that's what I was thinking. It will have
yeah,
its
it
own
must do.
class. That's what I was thinking.
It must do.
Yeah, it must do, because it'll be somewhere. So, and if you are struggling, Chuck T, Site Origin CSS free plugin, install it, go to that page. Wherever you move the mouse, it will then start to show you the class name, and then you click it, go and pick your color. Is it what you want? And then when you click the tick, it literally gives you the entire CSS code for that. So you can
Nice.
copy and paste it or reuse it or anything like that. Just checking some of the comments. Yeah, now this is a great question from Mark. Very good point here. He's had a client, they know nothing about websites, but they don't want WordPress. I've had that as well. And then I question them why, and they go, "Oh, I heard WordPress ain't that good." And I go, "Who told you that? Where did you read that?" And they go, "Oh, I
Mm,
saw it on a tweet." And I go, "But who said that? What did they mean by that?" And I said to them, like, I said, right, do you like, and I have said this to people, do you like the Marvel universe? And they go, yeah, I love the movies. I go, I think Iron Man's the worst superhero ever. And they're like, what? Iron Man's brilliant. I went, yeah, but it's my opinion. I
mm,
said, what you've read is an opinion of WordPress. And then you have to educate them again. over 40% of people are using WordPress. It's
Yeah.
still massively used. It's, there are other solutions out there, but for what you want, WordPress is fine. If I felt like what you want could not be done in WordPress, then I would send you off elsewhere or tell you to go and look at other solutions. But yeah, that's
The only
happened.
time I think someone's ever said that, or maybe more than one person said that, is, and they've said it's, oh, because I've heard they get hacked so much. They get hacked. They're easy to hack or something.
Mm.
And
Well, Friendly Girl did mention like the whole CSP, so like the content
yeah,
security policy. So that's all meant to start all of those XML and SQL injections. I think that's what it's meant to do, but I don't know much about that side of things. But if Friendly Girl is getting excited about it, then I'll take that as a good thing. Now, Chuck T says it doesn't work, that little thing with the CSS. It doesn't work on the front page. Chuck T, did you put exclamation mark important? Because sometimes you have to stick that in because there will be something inside Elementor which takes precedent. So you might need to put exclamation mark important to force it to work. And it might also depend on, I'm assuming that you're using hello. If you're using another theme, they might already have assigned something, but exclamation mark important, and that might help you out.
no, I
Uh,
think an important thing, if people do say this kind of security thing, then I think a good, I wouldn't say like rebuttal, but good thing to point out to people is that, WordPress is the most, I would say, popular platform,
yeah,
among the others. So if it's the most popular out there, then it's the one that's going to get attacked more. That's why you probably will read more stories and more posts
exactly.
about things, because it's the most common one. That's what people are going to go for.
Inderpreet says that 2 websites got hacked this week. I mean, I don't think I can give you a robust, fully blown security option here. What I would say is you got to make sure you're using a good host who already has
Mm.
some kind of security implemented somewhere. Sakuri security is not bad, but
Um,
I feel like you could have anything, and if it's going to get hacked, it's going to get hacked. I mean, no one wants to hear this, but if someone is going to find a way in and they are really, I mean, the question I would have though, what were those 2 websites? Were they your websites? Were they client websites? What was it about them that you think they got hacked? Were they selling Bitcoin? Were they selling high luxury profile items? If it was just like my web agency website and that got hacked, then I would say someone's got a bone with you. Someone has got something, someone is maliciously going after you or something. But I would then question what were those websites. But the first point of call for me always is, are you confident that this host provider kind of do a little support you in some way behind the scenes with kind of like, you know, um, helping to make the site or the server
mm.
more secure? Because, look, the cheaper the host provider, you can pretty much guarantee they're not going to be doing much to like, you know, um,
I think just maybe to add on an important point,
yeah,
when you get hacked or things like this happen, if you're competent enough yourself or not, but it's really, if you aren't, then it's really good to get some help, because you should try to find what is vulnerable, because
yeah,
it's not enough to just say, "Oh, okay, I've got this good host, I've got this site, and I've got this plugin, and that's it, I'm safe." Every site has some vulnerabilities, and if you do get hacked or if you do get things happen, then it's just only pointing out that maybe some part of your site is vulnerable. It might not be that everything is. So it's good to find the root cause. What is it that's there you go. There you go.
I think Interpret, you just answered the question, all right. I'm telling you now, Bluehost, GoDaddy, all of these like, cheap wipe your backside host providers, right? Yeah, you are not gonna get much security options from them. And I would say Artif makes a really good point. Get some expert help to kind of close it down, go back to your provider and go, what could I have done to stop that? Because sometimes they will say, oh, it's your fault, well, it's your website. But I would say if they're not able to give you some form of a certainty or assurance of some ways to stop this, that's not good. Friendly Girls, I forgot Ninja Firewall actually. She said she's never had a website hacked. I don't know what the cost is now for Ninja Firewall, or what you pay at the moment. So I will actually dig deep and have a revisit that one again. But yeah, I've heard good thing. I've never heard a bad thing about Ninja Firewall though, to be honest. And I think the name itself makes me feel really good. Now, I do want to go and crack on with some other stuff at the moment. And I've got to arrange a couple of meetings, and I got one later on with Elementor. And if they're still watching, I did my best, okay? I did my best. I wasn't overly that bad, all right? Give me a break, everyone. But I'm going to
Indy's
say,
on.
I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you again to Artif for jumping along. It's always good to have someone here.
Thanks
And
for
by the
having
way,
me.
look, if anyone ever wants to join, please do so. We don't just always talk about, we can talk about anything, that's still website related and stuff like that. Smash the like button. Again,
That's
thank you
right.
very much, Artif. All right. You're always great for being here.
No, thanks for having me on. I
No,
really
no, no,
appreciate
no.
it.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. I said thanks. I didn't, it's not meant to be a compliment.
It's a comment. You're saying you want me back next time, isn't it? Yeah.
All right. See you later. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye.